Hey everybody, welcome back to the video. So, Goldeneye 007 is back. How do I feel? How do I feel about this new release? Well, we'll get into it in a bit. First off, I have an announcement to make. I am now an affiliate of Apex Gaming PCs, so what are they exactly? Well, they're a website that specializes in gaming PCs, purchasing them, building them, or, shipped apart. There's even deals like where you can there's a section where it's like 50% off. They sell all kinds of variety of gaming PCs. They also have laptops, custom builds. They even partner with content creators. So if you're really interested in getting one, I'll have a referral link down in the description below if you want to check it out. Oh, and free shipping in the United States for orders are over 2,500. So again, if you're interested, link down in the description. Now let's get to the actual topic. Now back to Goldeneye. What do I think? What do I think of this release? Does it hold up in 2023? From a nostalgia base, oh yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. Well, how does it play? The resolution is obviously 4K on the Series X and apparently 720p for the Switch version. For the Xbox version, it has more modernized controls, like where it plays more like a modern first-person shooter nowadays. While the Switch version, curiously, the controls on that version are a mess. And apparently you had to make a specific profile just to play Goldeneye in a more modern control setting, which is really weird that the Xbox version has more modern controls, but the Switch version doesn't. That's a baffling decision. It's very kind of weird. Apparently the reason for that is because there was like two different developers making this port. I can't remember who it was that did the Xbox version, and I obviously don't know who did the Switch version as well. But I imagine someone with a Nintendo maybe did the Switch version. Would be kind of odd. But also, but while the Switch version does have modernized controls, it does have online multiplayer, while the Xbox version doesn't. Which is still baffling to me personally, because if it had online multiplayer across the board, it would have been amazing, man. Like, I was so hyped just based on the prospect of it, because, for those who don't know, the canceled Xbox 360 remake of GoldenEye, codenamed Bean, that was leaked a couple years ago, apparently it was going to have online multiplayer back then when it was previously only a Microsoft project. That obviously got canceled. Like, there was reports all over the years about why the project got canceled, because apparently Nintendo got involved, or MGN, who owns the IP for James Bond. So you kind of see why this game is seemingly a licensing hell, and probably a good reason why it took so freaking long for it to actually be re-released, or if at all. The fact that it even exists on modern platforms in today's day and age because of all the licensing nonsense with it, it's honestly a miracle. But it seemingly seems that they did the bare minimum, which I could kind of get why, because they probably just wanted to get it out there, namely because I'd imagine it's probably hell having to have all three, parties involved, work together to make this happen. But it did, thankfully, and don't get me wrong, I love it that it's back, but at the same time though, I kind of wish they would have done more. Personally, what I would love to see happen is where they combine both versions of it into one cohesive version of GoldenEye 007, like where the Switch version would get the modern controls like the Xbox version has, and the Xbox would get the online multiplayer like the Switch version does. Now, regarding the Switch version having online multiplayer only, I think it has something to do with how Nintendo's networking is for the N64 games on NSO. I think that's the reason why that's a thing, why that version does and the Xbox version doesn't. It's because it's kind of already there for N64 games, for certain ones that have that capability to play online. That's my guess, which it does kind of make sense, but also it really doesn't make sense why the Switch version doesn't have the modern controls natively like the Xbox version does. So that's kind of a weird decision. Who really honestly knows, but it would be kind of nice if they kind of go back to the drawing board and maybe kind of bring the improvements into one cohesive GoldenEye experience for both versions. Now, regards to resolution, the game is 4K on Xbox, Series X and S or whatnot, whatever Xbox platform you have that supports 4K. On the Switch version, apparently it's like 720p. I guess makes sense because of the handheld port of the Switch. But yeah, apparently frame rate is like 30 FPS. Apparently they tried to get it at 60. Or either A, they didn't have enough time to get it at 60 FPS, or maybe there's some kind of technical issue that, kind of prevented it from being at 60 because it could mess up, the physics of the game. Kind of the reason why certain games on Xbox didn't get the, FPS boost feature that Microsoft does, Like, for example, some FPS boost game I've shown on the channel before support FPS boost, So maybe there's some kind of technical issue, maybe with GoldenEye itself, is maybe why they couldn't get it running 60, or they could just didn't have enough time to do it, because they wanted to get this game out, and be done with it pretty much, because of all the licensing hell that the game is. Let's be real here. So that's probably why. But still though, I can accept the shape that the port is in, because it is a decent port on its own. It just could have been so much more, especially with the Cancel remake, where despite how crappy my laptop is, I've played the remake on PC of GoldenEye. It's really good. If you're like a fan of the remakes of Halo 1 and 2, in terms of how you could switch back and forth between the visuals, that's what GoldenEye had. It was the exact same thing. And not to mention, it was also planned to have online multiplayer, but obviously it got canceled, obviously, so who really knows why it was. But I think it's a shame that it was, to be honest with you, because it could have been, because it was actually really darn good. It was really good when it came out, or it was when it got leaked, because I played a little bit of it and it was really fun. So it's kind of a shame that that version, is not being released officially. Would it be nice if they go back to the drawing board and somehow in the future get that version officially released, because it sounds like it would be the definitive version to play GoldenEye 007, but what we have here is still decent. It just has some issues. Like I said before, it just would have been nice, but maybe, who knows, maybe at some point in the future it could happen, but unlikely though, because it's honestly a miracle that this even exists. So, how do I feel about GoldenEye in general? It's definitely flawed. There are parts of it that don't hold up today, but I don't care though. It's still a great game, man. At the end of the day, I love it to this day, and always will, because GoldenEye was a huge part of my childhood when I had the N64, and I'll always love it for that. But yeah, if you have an Xbox or Switch, I would play this game, give it a shot. Keep it open mind, especially if you've never played it before, because GoldenEye was a huge thing back in the day. Because there wasn't really much first-person shooters on consoles back in the day. Back then, first-person shooters were more of a PC thing, but GoldenEye was one of the big ones that really opened the door for first-person shooters on console. And it has such a huge legacy for that reason. It's that really good, so I would give it a shot. Shame it's not the 360 remake, but hey, I'll take what I could get at this point, because it was years that I couldn't play GoldenEye because of the whole licensing nonsense. So I'm happy that it's on a modern platform, and I think that's all I kind of say at this point. Is it a decent port, for what they set to do? Yeah, I just wish it could have been so much better. But GoldenEye is back, and I'm happy for it. Anyway, that's all I got really to say at this point about the GoldenEye port. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below if you've played it. And if you like this video, hit the like button and consider hitting that sub button to not miss any more videos. And if you're interested in a gaming PC, check out the referral link in the description below. Until then, have a great one.